First and foremost, I'm gonna give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua, Bashim Hakodash, the bounce to the apostles, Jim Esher Ruel, and shalom to the faithful men continue doing the work of the Lord. Just want to make a quick video, just speaking on, of course, you see the Iran and Israel situation, and which, with Jake already, Jake seen it, seen the news, Jake on a watch, brothers heard it, but I just want to make a quick point about that because I remember just a very, I guess you say, very quick testimony. I remember like when I used to work at this my old job, and my dude, man, I'm still cool with him to this day. We talk, often, you know what I mean? But I remember I taught a little bit about the scriptures, like, you know what I mean? Because he was pretty much like the closest, guy in the world, pretty much, that I can say. Like, of course, you know what I'm saying. Shit. He's like pretty much like my best friend in the world, you know. Of course, the brothers are my best friends, but you know what I mean. That's like the only nigga I can really, fuck with, at least at a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't no asshole, cause dude, he pretty much, he's Asian, but I think he an Israelite. I know for a fact he's an Israelite. And I met his family. His family accepted me as like family. You know what I'm saying? We ate together, with that pho shit. He said when you eat pho, cause I think there's two versions. He pretty much said this is, you family. So, hey, Lord willing, hey, if he maybe one day he sees it, man. And matter of fact, first let me start from the beginning. So I taught him a little bit about the truth, just a tad bit, man. Cause what I mean, you at work, and now I wouldn't do that at work at all. But at that time, that was like, I guess like 7 years ago, something like that, whatever. But I remember I was taught him a little bit. I remember I kind of like just threw a little bait out there just to see how he gonna react. And, I think the first thing I told him about cause we was talking about so-called UFOs, and I told him about it's the angels, and, he didn't really, we just, cause we talked about conspiracy things, stuff like that. Okay, cool. And then, we used to hang out, every once in a while and shit. And then me and him used to train for a little bit. We used to go to the gym like once a week, because I go to my gym, train and fight, and we go to lift weights together. And then it'd be times where it fall on the Sabbath, so I didn't want to lie to him. I don't want to keep saying, well, I got to do something. I don't want to make no damn excuse. I'm just going to tell him straight up, like, hey, it's the Sabbath. I explained to him, on these certain days, I can't woo-woo. You know what I'm saying? And then eventually he kind of started scoffing, like, oh, the Sabbath, But then I noticed, now I'm thinking about it, shit starting to get a little bit more real. And he's not scoffing as much as he used to. And really, I don't think he scoffed. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the only thing he really says that scoffing is like, when I meet his other friends, he be like, oh yeah, he's Muslim, he says that little, cause whatever. But he don't really scoff like that no more. Like he don't, say nothing against the doctrine, I'm starting to notice that. Cause I believe he's starting to, I'm not saying he's gonna come to the truth, but I'm thinking he's starting to really see some shit. But anyways, I remember, cause when we used to be at lunch and shit, it would be, it'd be like, cause it'd be the whole group of us sitting together, of the people that in our own little department. The majority of us would all sit together, and so it was this other white dude. You know what I mean? He was kind of cool, but kind of an asshole. He was, I don't know. He was alright, but he was just, some things I ain't like about that nigga. I remember he was kind of arguing about war and shit like that. And then, eventually I pretty much, and then, so like I'm mixing two different stories together. But anyways, I told my dude that World War III is coming out. At that time when I told him World War III, I didn't say you know, the scripture said. I just said it, you know, like World War III coming, you know, Iran, Israel, stuff like that. He scoffed at that. So I think eventually I just stopped trying to, you know, I got the point, stopped trying to teach. You know, like I said, I didn't really try to teach, but I kind of threw little things out there. But then I remember when the Iranian, what was it, the general, Salamander, whatever the hell his name was, right? I know it's not Salamander, but it sounds like that Salamander, whatever the fuck his name was. Who killed him? I think Israel killed him. You know, so when that happened, I remember this shit like it was yesterday, bro. We was at lunch again, and we was sitting there. I'm eating, he talking, and people talking. My dude was talking to this girl. He was like, man, damn, man, like, you know, everybody was scared. They was like, man, it might be a draft, man. And he's like, yeah, I might just go, man. You know, I'm like an idiot. But he's like, yeah, man, shit getting real. You know, people salty, people scared, bro. And I remember, I'm just sitting there like, I'm quiet. I'm quiet as I can be, bro. Because I'm like, I'm done teaching. I'm not even going to try to teach you niggas, man. Because I know that you're not going to listen anyway. You know? And that's that scripture, real quick. What's that? I know it's in Amos. You know? Just real quick. Let me see. How's it go? Clave, maybe. What's that one where it says, there might be, actually, not Amos, it's probably, Ezekiel. I'm tripping. So, like, yeah. Give me a second. You know, because, like I said, man, I ain't say shit, man. Because it's going to come a time, man. It's going to come a time where the prophets is going to be silent. Because, there it is. Because we warned you, you didn't take warning, you take heed. So then when the day comes, when all these things that we said is going to come, there's no need for us to prophesy to you no more. You know? Now you're just going to have to eat that judgment. This is Ezekiel 3 and 26. It says, and I will make thy tongue cleave to the roof of thy mouth, that thou shalt be dumb, and shalt not be to them a reprover, for they are a rebellious house. So that's what the Lord is doing. You know, that's what happened in that time. You know, when I was sitting there and they all was acting all scared and shit, thinking about a draft coming and shit, I just held my tongue. I didn't say a word. I'm just sitting there looking at this shit. I'm just observing, you know. I didn't, you know, and dumb, what's dumb? The word dumb means you can't speak. So I just stood there. I'm just eating my food, chilling, enjoying the show, you know. All right, because this people is a rebellious house, you know. After all that, he didn't. At this point, now there's more to the story. But at this point, he didn't turn and be like, you know what, bro, you right. Damn, you is right. He didn't. Now, skip years later, you know, we both left that job. You know what I'm saying? And I remember, he invited me to the crib. They had a little thing. They were just outside, you know, just chilling, drinking, you know, whatever. You know, his family there, a little bit of it, you know, his father, his brother, and a couple friends, you know, I'm sitting there chilling with him. And then, of course, me, I came late, fashionably late, you know. But everybody left, and then it was just me and him. You know, his father went in the house, and his brother went in the house, and it was just me and him. And we was sitting on the little porch thing of his thing, and I'm just sitting there talking to him, bro. And you know, and and just say this too, man. This is why you cannot get too emotional, you know, because you can't go against the will of the Lord, because the reality is a lot of people is going to die, even your friends, your family. All right, some brothers, women gonna die. Look at Lot's wife. You know. His wife looked back, and the Lord didn't you know what? You know what? I'm gonna show a little mercy. No, he gave a fucking commandment. Don't turn around. And the Lord killed her, man. All right? Cause she didn't fucking listen. You see? So it can happen to any of our, it can happen to brothers' children. You gotta be ready for these things, man. You know? Because, hey, matter of fact, real quick, going back to Lot, what happened to it's like there's more to the story, but I just want to get it a little bit more real quick, more precepts real quick. What about Lot's sons-in-laws? Let's see, Genesis 19 and 14. It says, and Lot went out and spake unto his sons-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, Up, get you out of this place, for Yahweh would destroy the city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. Right. See? So, what happened to them two niggas? They got put to death too. And I'm pretty sure Lot probably loved them. Because, in that time, the men chose, okay, you can marry my daughter. These sons-in-laws, Lot probably thought they had at least some type of sense, But these niggas thought that it was a joke. So they should have took heed to that. If they would have listened, it would have been more people saved. But they didn't fucking listen. Because you got to remember, right before this, Abraham was talking to the Lord, was like, what if there's 50 men? Are you going to spare Sodom, Gomorrah, and the rest of the cities? What if there's 40? And then went to 30, went to 20, what was it? Went to 50, 45, 30, 20, so on and so forth, all the way to 10. And he said, if it was 10 righteous men, I would spare it. But it ended up being really just one righteous man, and the Lord saved his household besides his wife. All right? But, yeah, you see? How you think the daughters of Lot felt? You think they didn't be like, damn, what the fuck? My husband's about to get, this shit about to be destroyed. But guess what? They had to keep going too. They had to listen to their father, Lot. Because they knew that shit wasn't no game. Hey, the angels, hey, you gotta get going. You better hurry up and get out of here. Make haste. So, yeah, man. So, it some of our people that we actually truly love, and I ain't gonna lie, I have love for this man, my friend, and Lord willing, he did a lot for me, and I pray the Lord bless him for that, but as far as him being saved, I hope he will. Hopefully, the Lord will show mercy on him. Hopefully he will see, and, he don't got to be a prophet. I mean, a lot of brothers and sisters that's going to be saved is not going to be prophets. Some is going to be friends of the prophet. Some, who knows? Shit might get real. He might hide me in his house. And, and the Lord might bless him for that. But at the same time, I understand that the Lord might kill him. And if the Lord do kill him, I'm just going to have to keep moving. I'm going to be a little sad. I'm in the flesh, so of course. But I'm going to keep moving. Because why? Because, hey, that's his judgment. You had a friend that told you about this and you ain't listen. But anyways, so going back to the story, so I'm at his crib, we on the porch, everybody left, it's at night, we just talking, and he just, man, I forgot exactly all he was saying, but it was like some type of heart-to-heart type shit, like, and he was like, bro, I can feel, like, I can tell through the spirit he wanted to say something. You know what I mean? Because we started talking about, like, religion or whatever the case is. And then, oh, yeah, that's what we were talking about. We were talking about how, like, the world getting dangerous. And we were talking about the scriptures. And I was just, like I said, man, I can just tell he wanted to say something more. You know what I mean? So then I was just like, hey, man, hey, this shit getting serious, man. Like, and where else? There's nowhere else. This is written at. This only written in the scriptures. Like, you know what I mean? And I try to tell him a little bit, and he's like, yeah, kind, he wasn't scoffing. He was just kind of listening, And like I said, it kind of seemed like he cracking a little bit, but who knows? But yeah, I could tell, man, it was like he wanted to say something, bro. But but I couldn't be, you know, like I said, I understand that he might be destroyed. So I can't really force the Lord. I can't force the course of the river. If either you gonna get it or you not, you know. But then, okay, so now, what was that last night? Because, you know, obviously you see with that Israel and Iran situation, they both shooting back at each other. You know what I'm saying? And so, and it's funny too, because I knew he was going to send me an article. Because he be sending shit on like Instagram. He knows about, you know, my beliefs a little bit. So, you know, sometimes he send things to my liking. Like sometimes it be fighting or, you know, me and him. He the one that got me into Naruto and shit. He might send me some Naruto shit, whatever. Or he might send me some God, something to do with the Most High or something. Whatever the case is, you know. And that, oh, Slaka, that was also what we was talking about too. We was talking about, yeah, he showed, that's what it was, Salaka. He showed me a video on Instagram about prophecy, like, yeah, man, the water drying up, the blood turning to the water turning to blood. He said this shit crazy. Like that's what it was. That's what he was telling me about. He was fucking prophesying to me pretty much. He was like, man, yeah, man, you know, he was showing me videos and shit, you know, and then yeah, that's how we started talking. But I was like, yeah, man, that's why I told him, like, where else is this written at? This isn't written nowhere else but in the scriptures. So I mean, things are coming to pass. I mean, hello, look, open your fucking eyes, pretty much. But anyways, so last night he sent. I knew, like I said, I knew he was gonna say something about the Iran situation. So he sent me an article off Instagram, and then I told him, I was like, see, I told you, shit getting real. You know what I'm saying? And then he texted like immediately back. He said, yeah, folks, you know, 8 years later, but yeah, you're right, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? See, he couldn't deny it. Now, like I said, I mean, hopefully he does be able to see it, but I understand that he still might not be able to see it. But because some niggas actually know about these things, know that World War III is coming, and some niggas still obviously just don't give a fuck, you know? So, but yeah, man, yeah, he said, yeah, like, yeah, you're right, pretty much, you know? So people start, and, you know, he couldn't, what's that scripture? You know, he couldn't say nothing against it. He can't say, oh, well, no, he couldn't say nothing. Luke 21:15, I will give you a mouth of wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. Right? You know, nobody can gainsay. Nobody can be like, well, no, because this, you know, this, that, and the third. No, everybody's starting to see it now. You know. So now, nigga, you better repent. Cause now it's not just about, okay, yeah, I see. Now you gotta start what? Calling upon the name and you know, you gotta do something, man. You can't just, you know, cause there's this, like I said, there's a lot of people out there that know and they gonna be destroyed for that, man. Cause you know, and you ain't do nothing. You ain't warn other people. You ain't get yourself prepared. You know. But get this. This is Ezekiel 2:5. And they, whether they will hear or whether they will forbear, for they are a rebellious house, yet shall they know that they have been a prophet among them. Right. Matter of fact, let me read this one too. So Ecclesiastes 33:33. And when this come to pass, lo, it will come. You see? It will come. Though it tarry, wait for it. All right. Then shall they know that a prophet have been among them. Right. So when these things do come, and it will come, and it's here. I mean, what the fuck? You know, you think everything's just gonna calm the fuck down? And I mean, it might calm down a little bit because we still gotta have the MOTB. But the MOTB, the mark of the beast, is already here. The only thing Esau really gotta do is have like a major crisis. You know, economy collapse, was that shit's going to hell too, you know? Terrorist attack, you know, have all that shit all at once, and then that's all he have to do. And now, all of a sudden, now, you just gotta make it mandatory. And then once that's mandatory, we out of this bitch, man. Not too long after that, then the missiles gonna be start flying. And the chariots gonna be start delivering and zapping niggas at the same time, man. You see? So we really right here. Like everything is really set up. And you best fucking believe it. Esau already have all the chips made. Cause just like the fucking Maxine waters, they said it takes 5 years to make a fucking effective shot. Pretty much, I don't want to say the fucking word, but these niggas came out in what, like less than a year, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly, because they already had that shit there, you know. So let there be something, man. Let the economy collapse. Let something fucking happen. Esau can be like, you know what? I got the solution. Everybody's killing, and there's no food, there's no money, there's no security. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna bring the chip. You know? You see, man? So hey, man, this is here, bro. This is beautiful. It's here, it is beautiful. And hey, and real quick too, I remember I was watching the brothers in Florida when I was at work a couple of days ago. And the brother said the same thing about his sister. He said he was talking to his sister, and then pretty much his sister was like, "You right." You know, you said, "I've been telling you this for 10 years, since 10 years ago," and his sister's like, "Yeah, you right." You know? So people starting to see it, you know. But hey, you know, it's exciting, it's beautiful. But like at the same time, you know, you still gotta have the mindset, because like the scripture says, a lot of people, with that revelation, a lot of people gonna get judged and they still gonna curse the Most High, you know. But yeah, man, you know, a lot of people gonna start waking up too, though, you know, because not everybody gonna be destroyed, man. A lot of people gonna be saved and delivered, you know. A lot of people gonna like I said, not everybody gonna be a prophet, you know. I made that video like a couple weeks ago, how we gonna be moving from house to house, even when Jacob's trouble hit, you know. I had a dream about that. Me and the brother, we knocked on the doors. This woman opened and she was like, "Hey, y'all can stay in the basement," because we was running from Esau for righteousness' sake. All right. So there's gonna be people out there that's gonna, show mercy to us and help us and give us place to stay, give us some food during this time, protect us, all kinds of things, So hey. Lord willing, hey man, it's beautiful times, man, beautiful times. But yeah, man. So Lord willing, hopefully that was edifying. We give our praise and glory to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah, Bishop Dash, the Mountain to the Apostle G. Master Ruel, from to the brothers of this work. Time to say shalom.